Hey guys, do you love the 80s? Were some of you here on social media born or grew up in the 1980s? If so, then I have something just for you. In this episode of Byron's Bios, the movie that I'll be reviewing this week is one of the classic 80s movies that you 80 teens could relate to, starring Matthew Broderick, Mia Sara, and Alan Ruck. It is also directed and written by John Hughes. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, here's a summary of this film that is easier for me to talk about. So the plot is where we get this teenager named Ferris Bueller, played by Matthew Broderick, who is a high school slacker that skips school just to go out and explore Chicago with his best friend Cameron Fry, played by Alan Rick, and his girlfriend Sloane Pearson, played by Mia Sara. However, a psychopathic principal named Edward R. Rooney, played by Jeffrey Jones, realizes Ferris' secret, and he tracks him down by searching him and try to get him back into school or make him repeat his senior year by making him stay for another year. This movie has a lot of potential, and I must say that when I watched this movie on Amazon Prime with my dad about a year ago too, I enjoyed it a lot. Because everything about this movie is what I call a teen comedy classic. Probably a masterpiece, if I should say. Now, some of you may know this, but I like the 80s stuff. I was never born or alive in that decade, unfortunately, but I got to learn about what the decade offered and why it's an interesting decade that brought a lot of great movies and music. The movie had a great cast, as they portrayed the characters really well. Even Ferris Bueller, as he's being a teenager in the movie, despite him being a bit of a troublemaker. But that's just his character. That's just who he was. It's interesting as well how after the movie, Matthew Broderick continued acting and did more movie roles, like the voice of adult Simba in the Lion King movies, which I dearly enjoyed. Not much to say, but the storyline was well done. The humor is hilarious, the music scores are really good, and even the song that Ferris Bueller sang in the movie, which was Twist and Shout by the Beatles. And when he did that performance in the parade scene, I thought that was priceless, because that performance came out of nowhere, and I thought it was well done by how he stole the show like that. And there were even a lot of moments where Ferris would break the fourth wall, a lot. And it was just phenomenal to see a lot of that. Also, here are some fun facts. The ending scene after the credits, where Ferris tells everybody to go home, Marvel did the same thing with Deadpool at the very end, and I can see why it's inspiring. Another fun fact that's very relevant is that when this was made, John Hughes made his film as a love letter to Chicago, and how there should be a teen comedy taking that inspiration, and how the characters in the movie love Chicago. This movie is also the reason a few late politicians, including Ronald Reagan, who was our president at the time, and Robert Bush, who would later become our first lady, stated how Ferris Bueller was one true teenager in the movie industry, despite him being a slacker. As this movie is one of the 80s classics for a very good reason, this movie deserves the rating of 5 out of 5 stars. Or how about a 10 out of 10? Personally, I thought Paramount did a fabulous job making this film. Trust me, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You will have as much fun watching it as I did. Although, I am aware that there's a TV show based on the movie, but it doesn't have the same cast members from the film, and I'm not going to complain. And there's going to be a spin-off released on Paramount Plus very soon, which will be called Sam and Victor's Day Off. I mean, it'll probably be the same as Ferris Bueller, but if I give it a watch when it comes out, it will just be a maybe. I mean, there have been TV and movie spin-offs based on films that have been released, and another 80s classic, The Karate Kid, which got its own TV show spin-off recently called Cobra Kai, which I had watched some of it so far. It's not that bad, but I still need to check out the 80s movies. So to get back on topic, that is my review on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Byron's Bios. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Until then, this is me, Byron, the multiple interests man, also known as Triple B, signing off. Double peace.